All right, let's talk about something that so many nonprofits struggle with: technology. The very tools that are supposed to be making your life easier, but often feel like they're just causing one giant headache. We're going to dig into why that happens and, way more importantly, how to fix it.
So let me just ask you, straight up, is your tech a powerful engine pushing your mission forward, or is it kind of like a tangled mess of wires that's actually holding you back? It's a really important question because getting this right, well, it's everything when it comes to connecting with your donors and making a real impact.
And this, right here, is the root of the problem. When all your different software platforms don't talk to each other, you're left with this clunky patchwork system. And that just creates frustrating, repetitive work that's a total time waster. So let's break down the biggest problems this causes, and of course, how to solve them.
First up is what I like to call the data silo trap. This is probably the one you're all nodding your heads to right now. It's where your most important information gets locked away in all these separate, isolated little boxes.
So what does this actually look like day to day? Well, a donor's email is in MailChimp, their event history is in Eventbrite, and their donation records are buried deep in QuickBooks. You see the problem? You never, ever get one single clear picture of who this person is and how they interact with you. Your team is forced to play detective just to piece it all together.
And this isn't a small issue, it's massive. A wild 54% of organizations say that this kind of incomplete data is a major barrier to getting their work done. Just think about that. More than half of us are basically flying blind, unable to really personalize how we talk to people. And that's a huge problem when 72% of donors say they will only engage with personalized messages.
Okay, so the fix, thankfully, the concept is pretty straightforward. You need to create one central hub for all of your donor data. A single source of truth where every single interaction from every platform gets synced up automatically, in real time, no more guesswork.
And this quote just nails it. A good API integration, which is really just a secure bridge that lets your software talk to each other, it's like having the perfect employee, one who works 24/7, never calls in sick, and gets the data right every single time. All right, let's move on to problem number 2, because it flows right from the first one: the manual entry grind. This is where the pain of those data silos really starts to hit home, with tedious, mind-numbing work that's just begging for mistakes.
Just look at the difference here. The old, manual way? It's full of typos and duplicate records, and it can delay getting a donation processed by a whole day or more. But when you automate, the data is accurate, you get updates instantly, and you save a ton of time. I mean, the nonprofit Northwest Harvest saved 12 hours every single week by automating. That's time they could pour right back into their mission. So the solution is to connect your tools. It's that simple. When your donation forms, your payment platforms like Stripe or PayPal, and your email system all just automatically feed that information straight into your central CRM, your main database, you completely eliminate that manual grind.
Problem number 3 is a big one. It's the absolute nightmare of financial reconciliation and data migrations. This is where those tiny little data errors can suddenly snowball into huge financial headaches.
You know what I'm talking about. The numbers from fundraising don't match the numbers from finance. And suddenly, you're losing 15, maybe 20 hours a month just trying to figure out why. Or even worse, you try to move to a new system and the migration is a mess. It breaks all the links between a donor and their giving history, and you're left with a jumble of duplicate records.
And this quote from Stu Mamotwith really gets to the human side of it. This isn't just about numbers in a spreadsheet. It creates real friction and frustration between your development folks and your finance team.
So the solution here is to be methodical. You got to do this carefully. First, you directly link your donor and accounting systems. Then, and this is critical, before you move a single thing, you clean up and standardize all your data. Next, you do a small test run with maybe 10 to 15% of your records to see what breaks. And finally, after the move, you check everything with side-by-side reports. It takes patience, but it will save you from a complete disaster.
Now, this brings us to an incredibly important topic, one that honestly gets overlooked way too often in the race to get everything connected: protecting your donor data.
Let's be real for a second. Every new app you connect to your system is another potential door for a hacker to walk through. A weak password, an outdated piece of software, that's all it takes to expose sensitive donor information and completely shatter the trust you've worked so hard to build.
So what's the fix? You have to build a digital fortress. First, use role-based access, which just means people only get to see the data they absolutely need to do their job. Second, you have to require multi-factor authentication, or MFA. That's that extra code you get on your phone. It's a lifesaver.
You also need to use strong encryption to scramble the data so it's unreadable to outsiders. And finally, whenever you can, stick with integrations that are built and supported by your main software provider.
I really love this quote from Mark Becker because it's about a total mindset shift. We have to stop thinking about technology as just another expense on the budget. It's not. It's the strategic engine. It's the very foundation that every single one of your donor relationships is built on.
Okay, so we've worked our way through the biggest tech headaches nonprofits run into. Now let's bring it all home and talk about what a unified future really looks like.
After listening to all of this, you might be thinking, great, now I have a list of 5 different things I need to go fix. But the real answer, the one that's going to stick for the long term, isn't about running around applying a bunch of different band-aids. It's about embracing one single, powerful strategy. And here it is. Every single solution we've talked about today boils down to these 2 words: centralization and automation. That's it. It's about bringing all your data into one place and then automating the flow of that data between your tools. This is the one strategy that tackles all those other problems at once.
And at the end of the day, this is why it all matters. This isn't about getting cool tech just for the sake of it. A clean, integrated, automated system gives your team their time back. It gives you incredible insights into your donors. It builds trust. And what does all that lead to? More funding for your mission. That's what it all boils down to.
So I'll leave you with this one question to take back to your team. Is your technology a frustrating roadblock that's holding you back? Or is it a clear runway, ready to help your mission take flight? The choice and the strategy is all yours. That's it for this explainer.